The Flash vs Godzilla. Who wins? The Flash is one of the most powerful superheroes in the world, but can he outrun destruction? What would happen if the Scarlet Speedster found himself face to face with the king of the monsters? Let's take a look at how these two titans would fare against each other. Before we answer the question though, let me ask you a few questions of my own. How fast exactly is the Flash? And what about Godzilla's destructive power? When it comes to raw speed, there are a few different versions of the Flash, but for the sake of this matchup, we're going to be looking at Wally West, who currently holds the title of the Flash. Wally is shown to be able to move so fast that he literally becomes invisible. In the comics, Wally was even able to outrun a black hole, so I think it is pretty safe to say that he'd have no trouble running away from Godzilla's atomic breath. Now, Godzilla, on the other hand, has an incredible amount of destructive power. With his atomic breath alone, he's been able to destroy entire cities in a matter of minutes. So how would he fare against the Flash? Well, it all depends on how fast the Flash could run. If Wally decided to try and outrun Godzilla's atomic breath by running faster than the speed of sound, then he would definitely be able to avoid being hit. However, if he tried to outrun Godzilla's overall destructive power, he might not be so lucky. You see, Godzilla isn't just a big lizard that breathes fire. He's a force of nature. And when you're dealing with forces of nature, the rules of physics don't always apply. For example, when Godzilla fights, he often causes earthquakes and tsunamis just by moving around. And even if the Flash could somehow outrun those natural disasters, he wouldn't be able to outrun the damage they would cause. Even if Wally was fast enough to avoid the direct effects of Godzilla's atomic breath, the radiation from that breath would still linger in the air long after Godzilla was gone. And it's possible that this radiation could eventually lead to cancer. Now, I know what you're thinking. Cancer isn't a physical attack. It's more of a long-term health risk. And you're right. But given the fact that this is a fight to the death, it really doesn't matter. If the Flash loses because of health problems that develop years down the line, that's still a loss. But what if we change things up a bit? What if instead of trying to outrun Godzilla, the Flash decided to try and punch him? Could the Flash actually hurt Godzilla? Well, yes, he could. The Flash's punches are so fast that they would effectively be invisible to the human eye. And if he managed to connect with one of those punches, it would be like getting hit by a bullet. However, I don't think that would do much damage to Godzilla. You see, Godzilla is kind of like a dragon. Dragons are known for their tough, scaly hide that protects them from harm. And according to some sources, Godzilla's hide is over 20 centimeters thick, which means that even a bullet wouldn't be able to penetrate it. Of course, there are ways that humans have managed to injure Godzilla in the past, such as by using explosives or nuclear weapons. But I don't think the Flash has access to those kinds of weapons. So his only option would be to keep punching Godzilla over and over again until one of those punches landed. But would that work? Well, it all depends on how well Godzilla could sense danger. After all, even if the Flash's punches were invisible, they would still make a lot of noise. And Godzilla has super hearing, so if he heard the Flash coming, he could simply dodge out of the way. Not to mention the fact that Godzilla can also sense danger through vibrations in the ground. This is how he was able to detect the approaching nuclear submarine in Godzilla versus the sea monster. So unless the Flash could somehow muffle the sound of his punches, I don't think he'd be able to get close enough to Godzilla to land a single punch, let alone enough punches to kill him. What if the Flash didn't try to run or punch Godzilla? What if he tried to reason with him? After all, both characters are known for being pretty hot-headed, so it's possible that they could come to blows just from some simple miscommunication. That seems pretty unlikely though. Godzilla is known for being pretty hostile towards humans, and the Flash has no powers over Earth-based beings, so I don't think talking would end up changing Godzilla's mind. What if the Flash did something else? What if he tried to use his powers to help people? The Flash's power set includes the ability to heal wounds and even cure diseases, so if he used those abilities to help people who were injured or sick, it's possible that Godzilla would be won over. It's unlikely, but I'll say that the Flash has a better chance of winning this fight, using his healing powers, than he does using his fighting powers. So the Flash versus Godzilla, who wins? Well, to be honest, it really depends on how the fight plays out. If the Flash tries to outrun Godzilla's atomic breath, then he'll win. But if he tries to outrun Godzilla's overall destructive power, he'll lose. If the Flash tries to punch Godzilla, he'll lose. And if he tries to talk Godzilla down, he'll probably lose. But if he uses his healing powers to help people, he might just stand a chance. In my opinion, the Flash has a better chance of defeating Godzilla than a lot of other That's because, unlike a lot of other the Flash doesn't rely on strength or intelligence or even special abilities. He relies on his speed, which is something that Godzilla has never shown to be vulnerable to before. However, I still think that Godzilla would win in a battle to the death. That's because Godzilla is just too powerful. His atomic breath alone is enough to wipe out an entire city. And even if the Flash could outrun that, he wouldn't be able to outrun the damage it causes. The radiation from Godzilla's atomic breath would eventually lead to cancer, which would ultimately kill the Flash. Do you agree or disagree with my assessment? Who do you think would win in a battle to the death between the Flash and Godzilla? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and while you're at it, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching. Until next time.